Good evening and welcome to the FiTT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby P. Kinzer. And you must be on mute.
Can you hear me, Bob?
Now I can hear you.
I'm Thomas Doty.
And we are the FiTT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow, helping our folks get their finances in shape. And this is our 205th show. No, happy to say we've been rolling for going on 4 years now. And we plan to keep bringing you good financial information, news that you can use. Just want to remind you that please, fill into the click on the like button and the heart button. It helps, gives us traction. And most of all, this disclaimer that we are not qualified financial advisors, we're just financial educators. Want to make sure that you please place comments into the comment box. That's how we get even more traction to people. It allows us to reach way more people, which we're looking forward to. And if you have any comments or opinions on the subject we talked about, please put it in the comment boxes. That's how we can make this interactive, right? We're in a virtual studio. Dote's in Cleveland. Am I correct, Dote? Sunny Cleveland. And I'm in beautiful Bowie. So thank you for tuning in. Dote, how are you doing today, bro?
I'm visiting my 105-year-old mother today.
What? Wait a minute, Dote. She got there. I mean, easy for me to say. She sure got there quick. I thought you were just telling me she was 101. 105?
105.
Good
1920,
boy.
my brother.
God dang.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a long time, man. 105, man. Aren't you blessed, man? Good gracious.
She's seen a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, I could believe that, man. Good gracious, though. That is beautiful, man. Tell Mom I said hello too, man.
Sure will.
That is some awesome stuff. God, dude, I could swear just told me 101. Yeah, I guess she said you're right, Bob. God, dude, she 1920. I'm still freaking out though. That's
And
amazing.
you saw her at the wedding.
And yes, and she's just spry and full of energy, man. God, that's a good sign for you.
Hope so.
You know. Yeah, no lie, man. Moms, oh, that's some awesome stuff, dude. So look, y'all. Last week, want to thank Rodney Madison for doing a wonderful presentation on mortgage notes. If you want to know more about that, you can go out and catch our show. It's only out there for 30 days now on Facebook. They take it down, but they keep archiving them on YouTube. But if you want to know more about the notes, go check out Rodney Madison on noteexperience.com should you want to know more information, right? So
big props to Rodney. He said he was nervous, but he didn't look nervous at all. I think
he
thought he did a masterful job.
Yeah, I got a lot of comments from people because it could have been complicated, but a lot of people was like, oh man, he put it where the old folks say where the goats can get it. So that was pretty good. So Dope, tell me one thing, man.
What's that, brother?
Do you have some good news today with the stock market for a change?
Well, it depends on what you own. I'm happy as I don't know what.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I don't know how y'all doing. I'm doing great.
Me too, Dope.
Yeah, the S&P is pretty flat. The broader market's kind of flat. NASDAQ's up 1.2%. And my stars continue to shine. Microsoft is up 11 points for the week. Year to date, it's up 22%, which is absolutely fantastic. Apple actually slipped a little bit.
Right, I see.
But my NVIDIA jumped again. It jumped 9 points to 5.5%. Year to date, it's up 29%. Google took a nice little jump up 6. It's still slightly down for the year. Pfizer went down $1, but again, that's no big deal. And Palantir made another big jump. It went up 7.7%, and for the year to date, it's up 103%. So there's still a lot of uncertainty. The president made a comment about firing the Fed chairman.
Right.
And The reason they're doing it has to do with some building renovations that he did and didn't supposedly didn't go through the right approval. So the market reacted to that, and as expected, he came back and denied it. So that could really put some negativity into the market. But the earnings keep coming in good. The banks reported tremendous earnings, and everybody's positive, and the market continues to ignore the effects of the tariffs. So we got to wait and see as we go a little further in the year and see if they really have a negative effect on inflation, and we'll see if really that's going to torpedo the market or not. But a lot of uncertainty out there. The AI ball is still rolling. Uh, I'm just trying to figure out how long to hold on as my stocks keep going up. But it's a good place to be. Good
Yeah,
place to
great
be.
place to be. Good place to be. We've been talking about that for years, dope, and it's been holding up, man. And gold, by the way, dope, because normally when the market goes up, it's sort of like an inverted uh, uh, relationship. But gold is up today over $3, and silver is starting to move, dope.
Yeah, but
Silver,
what's crazy, Bob? Remember I told you guys I put money into put that IRA into 1 year, 2023. I put it into uh, gold. In 2024, I put it into Bitcoin, and that thing is growing like crazy. It's crazy how fast it's growing. I mean, it's that little portfolio of those two items are up like over 50%.
so no, let me get this straight. You didn't put it. You put in a gold fund
No, I
first,
put yeah. I opened a Roth IRA
okay, and it was
in
a
in
fund,
2023, and I took 15 grand and put it into a gold fund, okay, a gold select fund in
right?
Fidelity. Then the following year, I put I think it went up to 16 grand, the amount you can put in a Roth. I put that into a Bitcoin ETF in Fidelity,
So
and
no,
both
so did you
and both
move
of
it out
those
of the
have just
gold? Did you move
huh?
it out? Did you move it out of the gold fund
No,
into
no,
the?
no. It's two separate
Thank you.
buckets.
That's what I was trying to get clear. It sounded like you moved it, okay, from the gold to the
Yeah, I put
the,
like 31 grand in both of them, and it's up. I think the total was over about 47 grand. So it's up, like I said, over 50%, and I'm just gonna let it ride. It's not nothing I'm gonna sell or try to get out of. It's just
and
kind of
that's
rolling.
and that's the thing I learned dope from you when you went into the gold fund, right? Because I held the gold physically. I keep it in um, safety deposit box in the bank. I held it physically because I wanted to hold, my gold myself. And I found out the lesson I learned was like you said, you can trade as quickly, the gold fund you can
Hmm.
just call and, liquidate it. But I found out holding the gold physically, I have to go to
A broker.
asset management company
Oh,
that
you got to find
actually
a broker.
I got to find a broker, and then they negotiate with you. Like I think it's right now $3,300, but that's not what you may not get, and then they're gonna charge you a fee
Yeah,
for
commission. Yeah,
commission. And I
it's
look
like
back,
anything else. There's positives and negatives to everything.
yeah, but I didn't know, but I learned that now I probably, but then it was a personal thing though because I wanted to have a gold bar, just, just sort of have a gold bar. But it doesn't make sense to have it physically because you got to go through way more hoops. But I learned that. That's something I learned. And like we said, though, we learn, don't we? Ain't like we know experts in this stuff. We be sometimes
Yeah, and
on the run.
I just been hitting. I just been lucky. I just can't. You know, better
Yeah.
better be lucky than good, I guess.
And I was talking about you the other day to somebody, and about you talking about that lucky stuff. But the interesting thing, I was a person that knew you that went to college with us, and saying that yeah, don't say it was lucky, but you undervaluing because you definitely at least research a little bit about the companies.
Oh yeah, I do.
It
I
ain't like
do.
he's just cold. I said, no, I don't. He is lucky, but he does look and choose companies considering what product they in and what market they in. You do look
Yeah,
at
and that's the thing. In the market, if you look what it's done the last 3 4 years, if you were invested, you made money. So it ain't like I'm any different than anybody else who's invested. Anybody who's invested the last 3 4 years has made, this bull market has just been rolling. And
no, we ain't
so
talking about last 3 4 years. The last 11 years has been a bull market.
yeah, it's been rolling. Yeah, if
First
you
time in
invested, you've
history.
been doing okay.
First in history, though.
Yeah, and so many people were afraid to get in. What's that? Fear of getting in. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about that.
Foji.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody, oh, I'm gonna wait till it goes down. I'm gonna wait till it goes. Well, that ain't. That's in my opinion. That's not how you do it
Right,
because you get in and play the long game. That has always worked.
right.
It's always worked. It may not work in the future. Something crazy may happen, but since the market crashed in 31, it's always worked. Just to get in, stay in, and let it grow for you.
Let it grow. Let your stuff compound. Let it grow.
But
And
so many people react. Many people react emotionally, and that's you got to kind of be not cold blooded, but you got to just make the commitment to get in, invest consistently, find a good stock or mutual fund or ETF, and just stick with it.
and
Stick with it.
this is the thing though about investing in the stock market. You're gonna have some that are outperforming others, and
Hmm.
you may have some losers. But the name of the game is to have a diversified enough portfolio that one or two of them hit, and those one or two can carry your whole portfolio.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with the market, though. A lot of people don't know. Like in America, it's New York and California that drives the economy in this country. It's two states really that drive. I mean, California is the fourth largest GDP in the world
Right.
after Japan and China. And the same thing about uh, uh, certain companies that are driving the stock market. It's not like a whole bunch. You have the S&P 500, but it's just a certain amount. And what I'm trying to say to people is, it's not that you're going to be 100% on every stock you have, but the more stocks and the more diversity you have, the more chances you get to hit the market. When one industry up and the other one's down, you make out. And when the other one's up and the other industry's down, that's the name of the game. Not putting all your baskets in all your eggs in one basket. So, though, let's talk. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. All you need to hit one big one every now and then.
Yes.
I've just hit about four big ones. But if you look at Palantir that I bought at 17 and now it's 170, I mean that's that's a winner. That's
Yeah.
definitely a winner. That
But
that that cures a lot of ills. You
And,
know.
and though, and this is the thing, like what you said, it's unprecedented for the market to be a bull market for that long.
Hmm.
But it didn't make a difference what financial advisor you had, what financial institution, because all the boats were rising.
Exactly.
It was weird, man. It wasn't like some special gurus was giving you some stocks tips or inside trading tips. It's just the market was moving like that, and you got to be able to take advantage of that. Let's talk about cryptocurrency, though.
It's good news there, right?
Cryptocurrency is kicking. Um, the actual market cap, though, it's up to almost close to $4 trillion. Remember, a year and a half ago, it was down half of that. Just a year and a half ago, and now it's it's been rolling like the past couple of weeks. It's like 6%, 7%. It's up 265 billion. But look at the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at $119,000. I think that's a high, though. I think
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think that's a high, and that's up $3,647 per Bitcoin, and Ethereum went up 18%. I don't know what actually happened, but it's up 540. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. $548. Good gracious. 18%. And Ripple XRP was actually used to be down below the top 10, moved into the top four for the last year. It just moved into third place. And I know they're doing a lot of stuff because proof of what is it called? Proof. I can't remember the name with cryptocurrency, but they're trying to go from one source of driving cryptocurrency to a more efficient source of driving cryptocurrency, and that's why XRP is jumping up. And it's up. It was only up 98 cents, but that's 38%. Interesting. So we showed always we look at the top six, and got to make this disclosure statement. Always remember, it's the most speculative financial instrument out there, but it's all about the long play. 'Cause I know a lot of people got in early, but when it started tanking, like 2 years ago and during the pandemic, they jumped out. I jumped in, and I'm up over 100, and I think 70% just because the time I jumped in late. So um, just yeah, that's just how it goes, y'all. Just that um, uh, invest consistently, and it normally pays off. So, dope. This week we're going to talk about the 2025 tax bill. Now, there was an actual bill, which I don't even want to say the name of the bill. the bill had a lot of things in it, but we're going to talk about a component of that bill today that they passed on Capitol Hill, which is interesting. But we're going to talk about the tax portion of that bill today, right?
Yeah, and what it did, it modifies and make permanent a lot of the things in the individual income tax table or rules, and also hit estate tax provisions, all from the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act. It affects the higher standard deductions, the lower tax bracket, higher gift and estate tax exemptions. And so when the bill was signed into legislation, it made a lot of those tax cuts permanent. And it also has other provisions to pay for some of the changes that were made. Like you got cuts to Medicaid spending, you got all that clean energy stuff that was put in. All that's been cut trying to pay for it, even though it's grossly understating the revenue versus what's being spent. So that there's going to be a huge deficit in the 3 trillion plus range. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Just kind of give you an overview of how this thing can affect you.
Yeah, and the good news is, I mean, because some of it is smoke and mirrors and got people, the richer or richer is the ones going to really make out. But the good news is you can fall into a lower tax bracket for the income you earn in 2025, thanks to the new income tax rate. They expanded some of the ranges, and also the standard deduction, the amount you can use as deduction on your 1040 tax return without itemizing, will be higher. And if you start now, you can make plans to reduce your 2025 tax bill. Knowing the tax brackets for 2025 can help you implement smart tax strategies like adjusting your income tax withholdings so that you don't get caught with a big tax bill. So Dote's going to
Yeah.
start us off with some of the new things.
Yeah, let's first talk about the permanent changes. And the 7 tax brackets have became permanent, and it has a top rate of 37% for the high wage owners and a bottom rate of 10% for the lower wage earners. Now, you understand that this is a progressive tax rate. So no matter how much you make on the first bunch of income, you pay 10%. Then each level of income, that bracket increases. Now, the mortgage interest differential, the mortgage interest deduction, it's going to remain at its current level of 750 in mortgage debt. That's 350 for single, but it had been reduced from a threshold of 1 million in the 2017 Act, and certain mortgage premiums may also qualify for deduction. Another big change was the SALT deductions, the sales and state income taxes and state and local income taxes. Basically, is what SALT stands for. And so it was 10,000 for single and joint files in 2017, but it's increasing to 40,000 but that's once temporary because it's going to revert back, to 10,000 in 2030. And so the the higher SALT cap is going to begin to phase out for incomes above 500,000. But if you're married, filing separated, it'll start at 250. And for years 26 through 29, SALT deductions and phase outs will be increased by 1% a year. So after 2029, the $10,000 SALT deduction would be applicable to single and joint filers, just like it is now, regardless of income, and it would then become permanent. Okay, standard deduction that doubled in 2017, and that was the big trade-off where it got rid of some exemptions and increased the standard deduction. Well, right now it's going to be made permanent, and it's going to be 15,750 for single, 31,500 for joint. And these amounts, they'll be indexed for inflation, which means as inflation goes up, those amounts will also so goes up. And for folks who's 65 and older, got to be some positives to being old. And you get a little extra kick. 2025 is 1,600. It increases by 1,600 if you're over 65. And if you joint and file a joint return, obviously that's 3,200 for both. Okay, so so if you add those two up, so if you're over 65, between the extra kick for being over 65 and the standard deduction, you'll be able to subtract 33,200 from your income before you determine your taxes.
Hey, so Dolph,
Yes, sir.
can you just simplify it for me and our viewers a little bit? Give me an example, like, so let's say, how do you get to that? Do you itemize or do you use a standard deduction, like an example?
Okay, so when you talk about itemizing, you think of all the little things that you're able to itemize, like your state and local taxes,
Right.
your mortgage interest, whether or not you have a casualty loss, your charitable contributions, and there's
Mm-hmm.
also miscellaneous expenses like work expenses that may not be reimbursed by your employer. And so if you add all those up and they come in less than the standard deduction, then of course you're better off taking the standard deduction. But if you add up all your itemized deductions, let's say you're married and you have that 33,200, I'm sorry, your itemized deductions have to be more than 33,200 in order for you to itemize, because otherwise you're better off taking the standard deduction of the 33,200. Or to say it another way, if your itemized deductions are over 33,200, then you're better off taking the itemized deduction because, again, you use that number to lower your income before you calculate your taxes. And so that's why it might be beneficial to really take a look at things you can itemize between charitable contributions, state and local taxes, and you may consider timing those charitable contributions to really maybe get double the amount in 1 year or pay 2 years of taxes in 1 year. For example, my property taxes are due. The due date is December 31st, but you have until like January 15th to actually make the payment. So you can put that in either tax year. And so if it's to your benefit, in order to exceed that 33,200 1 year, you might consider putting all your deductions in 1 year so you can itemize to get the benefit of itemizing and lower your income, even though next year you may not because you won't have those same deductions that next year. You can't get it 2 years in a row if you double up in 1 year. So I hope, does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it makes a lot
Okay.
of sense because a lot of people. But though, do you think on average, if you just took the average, if I can, it's pretty hard to get to. By the way, you said 33,200. That's if you're over 65. But if you're
And
under
married.
65, it's 31,500.
Yeah, and married, yeah.
And married, right? It's 31,500, 33,000. Would the average person? It'll take pretty much to get to that, or no?
It is, it depends on if you have a lot of mortgage mortgage interest, which, if you have a $400,000 mortgage and your interest rate is 4%, then that would be about 16,000 a year.
Wow.
If your
Right.
if your property taxes are, let's say, 10,000, so
Okay.
that's
Damn.
10,016, you're at 26 already.
Right.
And if you got a $400,000 mortgage, you must be making a lot of money, so you're probably paying a lot in state and local taxes. So if you're making, let's say, 200,000, or let's say 300,000, and you're paying 3% to the state and a couple percent local, so you're paying 5% on 300,000. That's another 15 grand.
But I thought the salt the state and
It limits it.
is
It
capped.
limits it. Yeah, but it's 40 grand. It caps 40 grand.
Oh, that's right. If you marry, I'm thinking about right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so you take that, and then you throw in your charitable contributions. If you're making 300,000, and you one of the good people
Wow.
at your
So
church, you
you
might be
can't.
giving 10 grand. So you can get there,
Right.
but some of the reasons you get there aren't good reasons. Like you'd rather not have a lot of mortgage interest. You'd rather not pay high property taxes. You'd rather not. Well, you would want to pay a lot of state and local because that means you're making a lot of money.
Right.
But yeah, you can get there, but for most people, like, to go back to your point, the average person probably has a tough time getting to 31,000.
Yeah. That seemed pretty up there.
Yeah.
But and yeah, that seems pretty up there. And but if you're there, that's a good place to be. Because
Oh, no question.
even if your property taxes are high, don't that means what? The value of your house have gone up.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't have a 3-4% mortgage. A lot of people getting 5 and 6% mortgages. So if
Yeah.
you got a 300,000 mortgage and you're paying 6%, you got. I mean, you take a 400,000 mortgage, you're paying 6%. That's 24,000 on average right there. So it's a
Right.
bit. You can get there pretty easily.
Yeah. Actually, by that example, Modestine asked, "Does the medical deductions change?" Now,
No,
I go ahead.
no, you gotta have, like, real. I hope nobody who listens to our show can ever take the medical deduction, because that means you had a whole lot of medical expenses, because it's based on a percentage of your AGI, and I don't know what the exact numbers is, but it still has to be pretty. You have to have had a lot of medical expenses in
Yeah,
order to take that
I used
deduction.
to know what that was too, though.
It's
God,
high as I don't know what.
it was a percentage, wasn't it?
It's a percentage of your AGI, yeah,
Right.
and it's a
It's
big
not a
number.
dollar amount. It was a percentage.
It's a big number.
Big number. But check this out. Because they were changing the for credit reports, they were removing medical expenses off your credit report.
Mhm.
Donald Trump had just mentioned that he's going to put them back on.
Oh, it's funny, the little things that are in there, like. And we talked about before, like he's saying, he's changed where seniors don't pay tax on Social Security. Well, 65% of the people didn't pay tax on Social Security
Anyway,
anyway. And another thing he did was with the gamblers. If you gambled, and let's say you lost $10,000 and you made $10,000, well, you could use the $10,000 loss to
right.
offset the $10,000 gain. But he's changed that to you can only get 90% of the loss. So in that same example, if you made 10,000 and you lost 10,000, you'd have to pay taxes on $1,000 because you only get 90% of the loss,
That's
which
cool.
is not. So now you done lost all your money and you got no money to pay your taxes and you got a tax bill. That
And it,
sucks.
and if you forgot and didn't realize the tax change, you didn't pay that extra. And look, what is it? Penalty and interest.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things in that whole bill that people are going to be shocked to
And
find out.
you
We're not
need
going to get
to
into
be
that. We're sticking to
no,
the tax changes.
right. But you need to be aware, you all. You need to go
No
out
question.
there, Google it, and look at it because there's a lot of little things in there that can affect you, both good and bad.
Right.
So please follow up, y'all. So let me tell you, there's other permanent changes like the lifetime gift and estate tax exclusions. Though this is I'm not going. We don't. This is not a political show, but
So keep
okay.
it, stick to business.
I'm stick to business, but you know what I'm saying when I give you this. lifetime gift, and estate tax exclusions. So they have more than doubled since 2017. It would increase to 15 million for single and 13.99 million to 30 million. Oh wow, yeah, from and went from 27 million to 30 million for those who are married, filing jointly. I'm like, you know who that's for, and it will be indexed for inflation. Good God Almighty, man! I wish I made that kind of money to pass it on to my family. The next one is the child tax credit, the CTC, which the tax, cut job act. That's what it was called in 2017, and then renewing. It doubled in 2017 from 1,000 will be made permanent, and it would increase to 2,200 per child starting the tax year of 2025. Now, the other permanent, the charitable deductions, what Dote said, um, uh, will change. Well, actually, that didn't change, but the deduction for non itemizers are permanently reinstated with a new deduction for cash contributions of $1,000 for single filers and $2,000 for joint filers. That's for non itemizers. The law also creates a floor of 0.5% of the taxpayer's contributions based on generally on the AGI, the adjusted gross income, on the charitable deductions of individuals who itemize. Oh, there's a base. That means a formerly fully deductible charitable contribution now must be reduced, there you go, by 0.5% of an individual's contribution for that tax year. Oh man, that's reduced. That's messed up. In addition, for those in the 37% tax bracket, the deduction will be capped at 35% of the dollars donated compared to the current rate of 37%. These provisions will go into effect in the year 2026. Now, there's one other one, the repeal of the personal exemption deduction. So the prior, Tax Cut Job Act bill, individuals who itemize could deduct up to $4,050 for themselves and a spouse and each dependent. While the personal deduction was repealed in December 31st, 2025, the standard deduction for the child credit, both of them had doubled.
Okay, some things is temporary too. And first is the tax on tips. Everybody's heard about the big deal made about that. No tax on tips and overtime. And they really should say no tax on tips and overtime if you make under a certain amount of money,
Right.
because the caps on tip income, it's good for up to 25,000, and the overtime income of 12,500 is double. The overtime part is double for joint filers, and that deduction begins to phase out for single filers with incomes over 150 and 300,000 for joint. And that deduction for tip income is going to be in place for only for tax years 25 through 28. The other thing that's kind of neat is the added senior deduction. So if you're over 65 and older, you'll get an additional $6,000 deductions. But again, that phases out once you hit incomes of 75 for single or 150 for joint. And this that's in addition, this the enhanced deduction will be in addition to the 3,200 that we talked about for being over 65. And that, again, it phases out totally once you get to 250 if you're married. Okay. And also the deduction for car loan interest. That's kind of I don't know where that came from, but
Right.
the new
We lost you.
up to $10,000 of loan interest for purchase vehicles whose final assembly took place in the U.S. The deduction would apply to single taxpayers with AGIs of $100,000 or less, $200,000 if you're married, and so we won't even get to the math of that. But that's another one. And again, that's going to be temporary. That's going to be in 25 through 28.
And though I have a sneaky suspicion where that came from. We lost your visual. I have a sneaky suspicion where that came from, though, because Trump seems to be for these uh, oil gas people. You know what I mean? These gas guzzlers. Because you're going to see later on in our presentation how he took away the electric car right off. It seems like he's trying to favor the gas guzzlers, and now he's getting maybe to write off some of the taxes. I could be wrong.
Well, part of it, they had to find some way to pay for stuff, so you get rid of all the clean energy stuff. But
Yeah,
okay,
that too.
let's
That
stick with the
too.
facts.
Okay, stick with the facts. Stick with facts. Stick with facts. Hey, Garnett, who you wishing happy birthday, Queen? Who you talking about? Who we talking about? Happy birthday, Queen. Whose birthday is it? Is it your birthday, you Queen, or well? And are you talking about a female? I got with all this LGBTQ. I'm not sure what the Queen and who the Queen is. So put in there who you talking about, so we know uh, who, so we can wish them happy birthday too. So, okay, what else is new, Dope? Check this one out, Dope. A savings account for children. The legislation includes a savings account called the, why he's got to always name stuff, called the Trump account, fundable up to $5,000 a year. Treated similarly to a non deductible traditional IRA contribution for parents or other individuals. Contributions can be made by parents, relatives, or any other taxable entity, according to the legislation, until the child is 18 years old, at which point the account would effectively convert to a traditional IRA. Parents of newborns between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028 will also qualify for $1,000 in federal seed money to start the account. Although not income restricted, Trump accounts are similar to these baby bonds like they have in Connecticut, and they which invest $3,200 into accounts for newborns and lower income parents. You know, that's interesting though that they're giving that child savings account, but yet they're cutting back on how much money federal grants you can get from federal grants now. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to make sense of it. Another change is they've expanded use for health savings accounts and 529. And so it widens the type of plans and participants who can participate in those HSAs, and allows payments of $150 a month, $300 for a family for direct primary care arrangements. It also makes permanent an extension for telehealth arrangements. And it also expands the use of the 529 funds. You can now use them for things other than just, tuition, room, and board. You use it for testing. You can use it for tutoring outside the home, educational therapies for students with disabilities. And it also allows for tax-free withdrawals for recognized post-secondary credential programs. And I'm assuming that would be for things like CPA, CMA,
All right.
certified
Right.
financial planners, where you get credentials.
By the way, Garnett thought it was your mother's birthday.
No,
That's who she
no,
was.
no. Her birthday is March 22nd. She'll be 106
106.
on March 22nd, which is
Yeah.
it's hard
Garnett.
for me to even say that. 106. I just can't even, because
I
I'm
can't
telling
even
you,
say 105.
70, 71's kicking my butt.
Yeah, 68.
71 is rough.
68 kicking mine. Though this next statement, I still don't get it. You gotta help me. What is it in the new law? No taxes on Social Security. The legislation does not include President Trump's proposal to eliminate, okay, I got it now, to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits, which are taxable up to 85% for individuals with income more than $34,000 or a couple combined income of $44,000 more. However, there's, which you talked about before, the additional $6,000 deduction for people who are 65 and older may help offset taxes on Social Security benefits for some individuals with incomes at that threshold just for the next 4 years.
Okay. Another thing that happened, it mentioned this before, it got rid of a lot of the clean energy stuff that was out there, the credit for people who buy the electric vehicles. And even if you buy used one, you got a tax credit. And that's going to disappear in September. So everybody's expecting a huge run on EVs between now and that September 30th deadline. But then after that, that's going to probably take a lot of people out of the market for buying those things. And also, it's getting rid of uh, some of the tax breaks for solar panels, heat
Yep.
pumps, and efficient
Yeah.
window and windows. That's going to end December 31st. So if you're thinking about doing any of that stuff to your house, you got to get it done this
Get
year. And if you're
get
going
it
to buy
done.
an EV, if you're ever going to buy an EV, you might want to do it before the end of September. But if I were you, I'd do like Bobby did, who made a smart move of getting a used EV, because the used market is, I mean, those cars have dropped tremendously in price.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, though. I'm telling you. Hey, though. So we went through quite a bit there, right?
Hmm.
So I want to do a recap and do a side by side chart so that we can see uh, some of the things that are going to be affected in this new tax bill. So let me go down. So this is a recap of the current law and the final legislation. So the current law for the standard deduction, it went from 15,000 for single people, 30,000 for married filing jointly for 2025 to $15,750 for single and 31,500 for married couples filing jointly, and that's 33,200 if you're over 65 for married filing jointly. The bonus deduction for older adults, it was $1,600. The current law for age 55 and older, 2,000 for unmarried, non-surviving spouse, and that's increasing to $7,600 for age 65 or older, and $8,000 for unmarried, not surviving spouse, both from 2025 only to 2028. The SALT tax, the state and local tax deduction, which had a $10,000 limit through 2025. The now limit is $40,000 and increases by 1% through 2029. But get this, it reverts back to 10,000 in 2030. The child tax credit, the maximum current child is $2,000. Refundable portion of $1,700 for 2025. The maximum now is $2,200 per child, and the refundable portion is still at $1,700. The state gift tax exemption is it was at 13.99 million for single and 27.98 for married couples. It's going up to 15 million for single. God dang, 30 million for married couples jointly. That is the state tax. Passing on, your state, your when you pass. And we talked about tax on tips. There wasn't no current law for that, and you can deduct up to 25,000 per year for 2025, and that is temporary because it ends at 2028. Overtime pay didn't have a current law for that. And that deduction is at 12,500 per taxpayer, and once again, that expires in 2028, just after his term. That's interesting. And the auto loan, the dope talked about interest. You can deduct up to 10,000 of annual interest on new loans from 2025, and that ends at 2028. Just want to give that recap.
Yeah, now, and Bob, when we're giving examples, we just mentioned mortgage loan. Again, when you trying to figure out whether you can itemize, that's another item you can put in your itemization, your interest on your cars. And
Oh,
hopefully you
right.
don't have a whole lot of that. And let's make sure we understand the difference between a deduction and a credit. I kind of went over that fast. So if you make $100,000 and you're married and you take a standard deduction, we'll just say of $31,000. That means your taxable income would be $69,000. Okay, so if you itemize and you came up with $32,000, that means your taxable income would only be $68,000. And what difference does that make? That $1,000 more in deductions is determined by what your tax bracket is. So if you're in the 24% tax bracket and you have $1,000 less income, then your tax liability goes down by 240 bucks. So that's what it saves you. That's the marginal rate of your tax bracket. So make sure you understand that. Now you contrast a deduction with a credit, and a credit is dollar for dollar, has nothing to do with how much you make. So if you get $1,000 credit, that reduces your actual tax bill, not the amount subject to tax, but the actual tax bill. And the credit has the same value regardless of your tax bracket. So those can be very, very valuable for low and middle income people. And credits are good. It's a dollar for dollar reduction in your tax liability versus a deduction which just reduces your income that's subject to tax. So make sure you understand the difference between those two.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big difference, though. Modestine wanted to know about credit card deduction. Not you can't deduct your credit card. Remember back before Reagan, you used to deduct your credit card. Wow, but no, Modestine, they not. You can't deduct your credit card interest. It's sad to say that would help a lot of people. So dope. Let's go to the summary. Oh no, I just want to make this last point though. Uh, Keep informed and get help. Y'all remember tax legislation is complicated with all these changes. And it's also everyone's financial situation is different, so it's going to affect everybody differently. But it's going to affect you some way. So consider speaking with a financial or tax professional about your individual needs throughout the year because you might be missing some tax advantages that could help you, or you might be missing some tax disadvantages that could hurt you. So don't be afraid to seek help. When you do that. So let's go to the summary and takeaways though, because we talked about a lot there.
Okay, I think I got the first one, Big Bob.
Okie dokie. Yes, you do.
And that is, got it working.
Yes, it's working. Thank God.
Yeah, Captain Obvious. Understand how it affects you. And by that I mean, take a look at it, see where you can how it affects you, how it's going to affect your tax bill. Some of these changes are will be effective this year. You might want to adjust your taxes if need be, but look and see what's happened, and make sure you understand what the effect will be on your personal tax situation.
Next one, take action to maximize your tax advantages. That's what I said. You got to be aware and know, but you got to take action because uh, there's things out there that can help you, and sometimes we miss them. And that's why I was just saying a minute ago. Please, look and see what some of the advantages are, and maximize them because you can be saving. And it's not about the thousands of dollars. Sometimes it's just 200, 300, 500. Those little amounts add up.
Yeah, next, Captain Obvious here. If you need help, get help. And a lot of people, this all of this data and information and analysis can be daunting for some people. And if you're not the type of person who's really into that type of stuff, then go get help because you need to maximize or minimize the amount you pay and maximize the advantages in the tax plan and make it so it best fits your situation. And and make sure you find somebody who's qualified. Just because somebody has credentials don't mean they're qualified. make sure you get someone to help you if it's to understand or if it's to figure out what's the best way to take advantage. If you need help, get help.
And the last one is keep abreast of the tax changes. You know, um, like for example, new legislation temporarily lifts the salt cap, but in 2030, it's going to revert back to its original amount from 40,000 to 10,000. So you need to keep up on this, and that means yearly. You know, not just every other year, and even monthly. You know, you need to just really, like Doe said, get somebody who's qualified to, in tax or financial professional or a tax planner like a CPA, and get the information. But please understand that some of these things are temporary, and you don't want to get caught into uh, paying Uncle Sam and Aunt State because you got to pay state taxes too.
Right.
So we covered a lot. And if there are any other questions out there, please put them out there. So let me see, Ghana. Okay, Ghana said, always good information. Thanks for having Rodney as last week. Very informative, interesting. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. So thank everybody for tuning in. We will be having show 206 next week. Oh. Next week I will be in Milan, Italy.
Good for you, my brother.
Yes. I'll be in Milan, Italy. And then the next week I will be in Rome. And the week after that,
we hoping it works.
Yeah, I hope y'all. We hope we see you because after that week I'm gonna be in either Greece or Turkey, and I'm not talking about food. Oh, Brett, we got an old co-worker of mine. Not that he's old, but he was an old co-worker. Brent, what's up, man? Do you do a show on private banking? Oh, Brent said we need to do a show on private banking and wealth management. Okay, we definitely look into that, man. Good to see you on, Brent. And let's do a little roll call here. Carl Chapman, my brother. Good to see you, Garnett. Always thankful for you being on. Rodney L. Madison Sr. did a great job last week. And
hey, Rodney.
The noteexperience.com. Y'all go out there and find more about that. My wonderful sister, Gloria. How you doing? Hey, Nolia, you made it on. Okay, my sister, Nolia. And Linda's not on today, so that means she fell asleep and my other two sisters were awake today. No, I'm just kidding. So, I love messing with y'all. And then Modestine, as always. Deborah, Dodie. What's up, Dad?
Happy early birthday to Dee.
Oh, yeah?
Her birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday, Dee. Happy birthday, Dee. And my wonderful sister, Nolia, thank you. Hey, what's up, Kitty Cheney? The Toastmaster International. And Linda is on. Okay, I'm sorry. Nolia corrected me that, but I don't see Linda on here today. Okay, Linda.
Anybody on YouTube you don't see?
Yeah, but Linda usually is on Facebook. But thank you. Well, no, somebody else is on here. No. Yeah. Oh, Gloria's on YouTube. My other sister, she on YouTube. She on here. But thanks everybody for being on. You really appreciate that. And the
thought for the day.
Quote of the day. Never let the quest for more distract you from the beauty of enough.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm glad to meet your pool. So look, everybody, tune in. I'll be coming from, I think, Milan or Florence, but I'm bilingual. I speak a little Italian. Buongiorno. So see y'all next week. Love y'all. Peace.